This is Brandy Cherry from Every Inch Counts, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
Hey, welcome to the XJ Talk Show. We're going to get started here in just a few minutes. A little pre-show music and goings on. So we'll be back with you here in the next 8 minutes or so. Well, Josh, I've been working on this stuff since around 6 o'clock this afternoon, which is about 3 or 4 hours ago.
You make me feel bad.
Well, no, I was just letting you know that what I was going to finish saying was instead of having our live viewers sit here watching a couple of guys stare at the screen or texting back and forth to each other, I worked up a video loop for that we're going to play during the interview.
Oh, okay. What's that consist of? Is it just like a slideshow of sorts, or what?
Yeah, pretty much. It's images from Steph's Facebook that I put together with some background logo, various fades and stuff. So, slideshow pretty much covers it. Quite a bit of feedback from people off of Facebook and even some on Twitter about this upcoming show, specifically having to do with Steph's interview. And I think you're aware of it. We are live currently on Ustream.
Right.
I've been forgetting to tell you, but I figured you know.
Yeah, no, I figured. You're broadcasting at this time. Well, that's cool about all the buzz online through the various social sites and whatnot. I'll be curious to see what the numbers are like from this show. I'm looking forward to this interview myself. So
it's a fun interview. I listened to it. I kind of stumbled in a couple of places on there, and I was going to clean it up. And I was listening to it today while I was working on the images that I was going to use for the video. And I went, I'm probably just being too Joshy here, so I left it alone.
I see what you did there.
Nothing wrong with being concerned and a professional. It's just I decided not to be.
That's good.
It's good. So I'm going to go ahead and close the door and cover up the servers so I can get a little bit better sound in here. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So I see we already have 4 people watching the live show. Welcome to the show. This is the pre-show where Josh and I talk about a few things. Just before we get the show started off in about 4 minutes. So if you're a new watcher or a new viewer and you're confused, that's what's going on.
Right.
Don't say it like that. They won't believe me.
No, Tony is telling the truth, and I'm just sitting here finishing up my remarks or notes, rather, show notes for tonight's This Week in Jeep.
So do you need me to hold off because we got about 3 minutes left?
No, I'm good. I'm just sort of elaborating some here in the notes. I don't really need to.
Hi, this is Eric from BSF Recovery Team, driver of the Extreme Off-Road Wrecker, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
Hey, I don't know if you saw those pictures that I put up of the heavy-duty track bar from IronMan4x4fab.com.
Oh, no, I haven't.
That is a zombie bashing head mother jammer. Good God.
Nice. Very nice.
I started to install it today, but I didn't want to get tired like I do when I do physical activity and then I have to do the show.
Right.
I was lazy. I could have done it.
Well, I worked on. I guess I'll cover this in chit chat. I was gonna say I worked on a buddy's Jeep this weekend.
Well, good.
Still haven't worked on mine though.
I have a past coworker that he's into video games and somewhat of a. I mean, he goes to a thing every year where he competes. That big of a deal. It's one of the older stand-up games that I think you could also play on a console. I can't remember what it is. It's a kung fu karate thing. I never was that big into those fighting games when the stand-up games were the big thing. And anyway, I stay in contact with him through Facebook, and here for the last several days, he's been building a Mark V out of cardboard. And
what?
Yeah, and I, the speed racer type thing.
Right.
And I'm like, he's a bit on the, he's a funny guy, he's a good guy, but he's a bit on the edge as far as lost childhood or something.
Okay.
Look at me talking, and with the Jeep. And anyway, he finally got the thing. I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know what he was doing with it. I figured he's just goofing around building things like a model, but it was a big model. I didn't know how big it was, but it was big.
Life size.
Well, I don't know. It was hard to tell.
RC car size or life?
No, bigger than that.
Soapbox derby size, maybe.
Kind of like 25% scale.
Okay. All right.
So anyway, he posted up a picture a few minutes ago, and he's at Toys R Us, dressed as Speed Racer, helmet and all, standing next to the vehicles that they sell for $300 and $400,
right.
wearing the Mark V that he built. It's a Halloween costume.
Oh, okay. See, in my mind, I got this, fabricator mentality. I'm thinking, okay, he fiberglassed the whole thing, bonded out some of the corners, shaved it all down, molded it in, spray painted it. Made a replica.
Yeah.
And put some axles and a little, go-kart engine in it or something.
So I posted, being the good friend that I am, I posted, Jesse, if you open the hood, is there a special prize?
Oh, no.
Jesse is probably about 5'2", 5'3", and people are always picking on him about his height, and it's, how I am about jokes. I've worked really hard not to. So one of his other good friends, responded with, "Yes, it's a little prize."
Oh. Well, I hope he's a good sport.
He is.
I really do.
He is. He's a very good sport. I think he probably kicks his dog when nobody's looking. But
right, yeah.
It was just really strange though, seeing that, and I'm going, what are you doing, Jesse? I don't get it. So.
Nah, he's having fun.
Oh, was there an opening?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I just assumed you'd already gotten it.
No, I forget about them. I get ready and then I forget. So let me go over here and grab it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she said. Okie dokie. Again, just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. What we do is we record a podcast every Sunday night, 10 p.m., and there were some folks that wanted to they wanted a live show to go along with it. So we found a way that we could just broadcast at the same time we record, and that's what we do every Sunday night at 10 p.m.
And as soon as we get a couple more samples loaded up, we will begin this week's episode.
Theoretically. I'm just going to check the levels here. Okay. Here we go.
Just into the XJ Talk Show News Desk. Shocking discoveries about your neighborhood. Find out all the details later in the show.
Hey, stud. It's time for the XJ Talk Show. Now, here's my two favorite boys, Tony and Josh.
Well, I am favorite boy number one. I think I've said that before, Josh, but there's new people. They haven't heard. I shouldn't have said that. I just ruined it. Welcome to episode 99 of the XJ Talk Show.
Yes, I guess that leaves me to be favorite guy number two, I suppose.
favorite
Bringing up the
boy.
rear, so to speak. But you are manning the helm over at the XJ Talk Show headquarters, as it were, the master command, as it were. And well, I guess you do get a little bit more credit then, don't you?
Yep, and you know what I didn't do? I'm sitting here all ready and prepared, strangely as that sounds, and I don't have the show notes up.
Oh, well, I got them up here, guys. So let me tell you guys a little bit about tonight's show. We've got, of course, This Week in Jeep segment. Tony and I are going to talk a little bit about what's going on in our own Jeep worlds. We've got some voicemails we'll play with you guys, and, of course, a long-awaited interview with Steph Turner, New York, a fan, I guess, of the show, and, of course, Jeep owner herself.
Yeah, it was a great interview, and I'm really looking forward to playing that. It was a lot of fun. You know, you never know, and I think I mentioned this before, you never know when you interview somebody, if it's the first time you've interviewed them, how they're going to react. And Steph did a really good job. She's not a timid girl, which is great.
Well, I think that's going to be par for the course for most of our female interviewees, I suppose it were. The ones I can think of were great interviews as well.
Yeah. No, I really haven't had a bad interview. I don't think you have either, but I guess it's the nervousness. You know, you don't know how much talking you're going to have to do when you interview somebody.
Well, you know, you and I talk, just about every day, and we're used to talking. Interviewing somebody is a little bit different of a beast altogether, and it gets a little awkward at times. You're trying to, make sure you're coming up with the right questions, and of course, asking those at the appropriate times, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, we're going to be rushing through this show tonight a little bit because we need to get going so we can get the entire interview in tonight, which of course we're going to, but we would like to be able to try to hit that 1 hour mark that we so desperately miss on occasion because Josh and I will get busy talking about something. Actually, we probably should have a little bit longer pre-show, Josh. That way we can get it all out.
Oh yeah.
So, anyway, what's going on with you? Anything?
Well, I did postpone working on my Jeep even more, and actually worked on a buddy's Jeep. He came over and needed some help with his audio system, and it kept shorting out, and his deck would keep coming up as protect. And first I thought it was a security thing, but it ended up being the deck was actually sensing a dead short in one of his speakers.
Oh,
and actually was in the wiring of the speakers. He didn't do a stellar job, as it were, on his own install, and so over time, of course, it degraded and started shorting out the system. And just a little bit of quick troubleshooting, we found out what the problem was. I rewired the entire system for him, got everything all in polarity and stuff as well, and in phase, and the system sounds great now.
Yeah, polarity is important. If I remember properly, I was told that if you have the wiring backwards to a speaker, that you'll still have the sound and you may not notice it, but the speaker, instead of pushing out, will be pulling in, and that will change the amount of bass, and a lot of the frequency response you'll be missing. So you'll have sound, you just won't have the best sound. Yeah, and the speakers move, forward and negative of a flat plane, and they don't really care which direction they're moving. They just matters of the other speakers which direction they're moving as well. So you have one speaker that's out of phase and one speaker that's in phase. You'll get what's called destructive interference. Well, it's canceling out. Yeah,
you're canceling out. This happens more so in the lower frequencies than it does the higher frequencies. And so you'll hear this if you balance to one side. So if your system is out of phase like this, turn the balance all the way to the right or all the way to the left, and it'll sound a lot better all of a sudden. Just not as much volume because you're obviously taking out half the speakers. So it's got this all working up, and now we can crank his system, and it sounds great. That's pretty cool. I was going to ask you about the protect mode. Is that a common feature in modern day radios, or? Yeah, I was going to say, I think this deck in particular, it's a Kenwood, so it might be indicative of only Kenwood. I know that the older Eclipse stereos used to have a CD that was required. If it ever loses power, you have to put this particular CD in order for it to unlock, and it would say protect on the screen until you put that CD in if the vehicle ever lost power. So, there's a few brands out there that do this sort of thing, just different degrees to different extents. Interesting. Yeah, I've never seen that. I guess I've never done a piss poor job wiring or accidentally pinched something, installing something later and pinched a cable. So right, and that's part of the troubleshooting process, is going through and with a digital multimeter and checking the resistance of all four speakers first off and finding out where the problem is. And then going through and checking all of those lines to ground and checking them to themselves with the speakers disconnected. And obviously, once I got back there and started looking at some of the wiring right at the speakers where the problem was, and it was just, twisted on there and taped on there. And obviously, that's not going to last very long. Yeah. Now, in case you're a new listener, we have a couple of segments that we've done in the past on the show. One is This Week in Jeep, another is Jeep Tips, and a third is the electrical and audio section that we haven't done in quite a while, and that's something that Josh normally would do, and you're listening to some of his expertise on the electrical stuff right now. So it is something we've done in the past, a segment we've had in the past, and a segment we'll have in the future. I think you were starting to run out of things to talk about, though, weren't you? Yeah, I was. There's only so much you can get into as far as electronics in a vehicle, and eventually you cover all the bases. So I think once we get a few more shows on our belts, maybe I'll bring out some of those ones, then revisit them, so to speak, and see if I can't clear up some of the confusion if I've ever gave you guys any in the past. Well, maybe we should hit upon how to check a 9-volt battery with your tongue. Yeah, that's a good one. but you have to get a good point of reference. So you have to get a new 9-volt battery and test it, and then you can tell how good the other ones are. And folks, this does not work with car batteries, so don't even try. No, but if you have a tongue that long. Then we probably need to call some people. But you still shouldn't do it. Actually, I wouldn't even do the 9-volt thing. I'm just joking around. I used to do it when I was much younger. It's not so bad. No, it's not. But it's not. It's never a good thing to shock yourself. Yeah. So we got some voicemails tonight we're going to share with people, don't we, Tony? Yep. Let's get to it now. Hey, this is Tony. And this is Josh from the XJ Talk Show. We want to thank you for calling our 24/7 voice line. Yes, we do. Just leave your first name and your question or comment. There's no guarantee, but we may play your message on the podcast. Oh, and don't worry about keeping it clean. We'll take care of that. Now it's your turn to speak at the beep.
Hey, this is Nikki G. And I really don't have anything funny to say this week. Really couldn't come up with anything. But my medication should kick in soon, and the funny should come. But I wanted to not leave you guys hanging, but I'll regale you with a story of my youth. As some of you might know, my first vehicle was a 74 AMC Gremlin, which was built back then. AMC built a Jeep. So it was kind of an ugly two-wheel drive Jeep, or as you might call it, the first Compass. But anyhow, the Gremlin succumbed to everything in northeast Ohio. the moisture and salt just got the better of it, and I was in the process of replacing a lot of body panels on it, but the doors were the first thing to go. So I got some good doors at a junkyard, and I was taking them off. And inside, took the panels off and everything, and inside the door was a big, huge nut. And there's not even a nut this size on a car, like a piece of machinery or a tractor or maybe a tank or something. It was a big, huge nut with a cardboard tag on it, attached with wires. And written on the tag was, "How long did it take you to find this rattle?"
Oh, wow.
AMC factory workers got a sense of humor. Hard to believe they went out of business. All right, guys, I'll chat you later. You have a good one. Bye. Hey, this is Mickey G. I just wanted to remind everybody Halloween's around the corner. So drive carefully and be on the lookout for little candy beggars. They're going to be high on a sugar rush and not thinking clearly. And if you ever want to get a funny reaction from the trick-or-treaters, when they knock on your door, instead of dropping a candy bar or something in their bag, drop a good old can of soup or canned vegetables in their bag. And see the look on their face as they try to be polite and say thank you. Oh, and have a garden hose ready because you're going to get eggs for sure. All right, guys, I'll chat you later, and you have a good one. Bye.
Great, informative, knowledgeable voicemails as usual, Nikki G. And, I have to admit, this is the first time I've actually listened to the entire voicemail, even though I edit them prior to the show. And when you said you found a large nut in the panel, I thought that you may need to have that DNA tested because it may have been part of Jimmy Hoffa.
Oh, God. I kind of had to second guess myself. Did he just say what I thought he just said? And I tried to keep my mind out of the gutter a little bit, but apparently we're thinking the same sort of thing there.
Well,
but
of course.
That I would love to hear the story from that assembly line worker. If there was any contact information on there, Nikki, if any of that was still valid, even that would have been just absolutely epic. And to get a hold of that person and hear that story, see how many times they had done it and that kind of thing, and if this was a common thing, and really I'd be curious to see how many nuts and doors there are in the world.
Well, let's see.
Let's go to This Week in Jeep.
Well, I just played a promo and it didn't play. So I don't know why. Let me try that again. Take a little pause so I can hit this out.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is Tim from Jeep Tubes, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
xjtalk.com is where you go when you're not off-road. And now you can go to xjtalk.com when you're off-road too. Using your smartphone, install the Tap a Talk app, then search for XJ Talk. Take XJ Talk with you wherever you go. Jury duty, dinner with your spouse's parents, even, anywhere you need your XJ Talk fix.
I know you've heard us talk about Amazon on the podcast before, but have you heard about our new game? You bought what? It's a lot of fun, and we want you guys to play along. All you have to do is go to xjtalk.com or xjtalkshow.com and click on the Amazon banner there on the main page. This takes you right to Amazon, where you can buy any crazy little thingamajig to join in on the fun. Amazon gives us a list every week of what you guys are buying, but we don't get to know who it is that's buying it. As an added bonus, you get the same great price you always would, and Amazon is going to give the show a small pittance for you playing along. So let's all have some fun. The XJ Talk Show and Amazon.com.
First Week in Jeep.
One of these days, I might actually have something positive to say about the brand new 2014 Jeep Cherokee. This week is not one of those. Jeep Cherokee is still delayed, and dealers are, getting a little concerned about sales numbers, to say the least. With no Jeeps on the lots, and of course none being shipped right now, there are other options. And of course, people looking for that sort of thing, a SUV, a crossover, they're either going to have to wait, which most likely people are not going to, or they're going to have to go with something else, which is the most likely option for people in the market. So with all this stigma, of course, that's going to produce bad sales numbers, which is, of course, the bottom line here. And people really are worried. Well, dealerships and, of course, Chrysler is really worried at this point whether or not Jeep Cherokee, the new Cherokee badge, is going to be able to recover from this kind of stigmata. Bad sales numbers one year is probably going to reflect bad sales numbers the next year, and so on and so forth. They may have to dig themselves out of a big hole. We'll see. Now, jalopnik.com this week also, well, if you guys don't know, Jalopnik is a weblog covering cars, car culture, and the automotive industry, and emphasizes irreverent humor, of course. They gave the 2014 Cherokee a stellar review, but saying it's not as cool as, quote, a sleeveless denim jacket. They were, of course, immediately slaughtered by remarks from their visitors, fans, site users, and, of course, anyone with half a brain. We'll post up in the show notes the link to this if you guys would like to see the slaughter in progress or join in on the fun.
Yep. Poor Jeep 2014. I wish I could shed a tear.
Yeah, no, not going to happen. Yeah, I think they're doomed from the start. I think this is
USA, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. The one sitting there listening to the XJ Talk Show. Why aren't you a part of it? What? Tell me more, you say? Well, it's pretty simple. You can become an XJ Talk Show reporter. All you need is a smartphone and the ability to talk to people. Just email reporter@xjtalk.com for more information.
xjtalk.com. It's where you go when you're not off-road.
Sorry about that, Josh. Pierce stepped all over you.
Yeah, no, it tends to happen, I guess.
Damn Jeep Jamboree guy. He just kind of comes in there and starts talking. Well, as I was saying, my God, the Jeep Cherokee, the 2014 Jeep Cherokee, doesn't appear like it's going to make it out of the gate. I heard an interesting thing the other day from Dan, and maybe you've mentioned this in the past, that apparently the problem with it getting into ninth gear is the engine is too underpowered, so it can't.
I would doubt it.
Can't quite get there. It just doesn't have enough oomph to. It can do 8 gears, but not 9.
So I wonder if the fix is going to be turbo on all of them or something like that, or if they're just going to go back to the drawing board and this becomes the 2015 Cherokee.
I wonder if they still have any 4.0 blocks laying around.
Oh, they're not smart. They're not that smart.
Wouldn't that be an interesting? That would tweak me if I had to. If they had gone with like a 4.0 and an AW4 in it, you know.
Oh yeah.
Or no, better yet, an AW9. Then they would have had me.
Well, you see, now they've tooted their horn about this 9-speed transmission, and I would imagine they're going to do everything they possibly can to save face, which means either going with a different drivetrain next year. They may do a limited release the first year. I don't think they're going to hit anywhere near the numbers that they were expecting. I mean, nowhere near. It's going to be an epic failure as far as automobiles go, as far as their debut launch. So they're going to have to really come out of the gate strong with a lot of improvements next year. And I think one of the design stylings is going to have to be one of them. I think that with that and the issues with the powertrain and everything else, if they don't heed all this buzz in the interwebs and on the media and everything else about this, they may have a second year of bad sales as well.
Yeah, I think most people know not to buy the first year of anything. Especially if there's rumors about problems, and certainly that's the case here. So I'm sure they're shooting for the second year sales. But the thing that gets me is I'm no genius. I'm certainly no mechanical engineer or automobile engineer. But if you were having a problem with gearing and you really can't change the gears and the transmission as easy as you could change the differential gears, it seems to me they could just go with a higher differential gear and solve their problem as far as changing the overall gear ratio and getting it in ninth gear. I mean, that's a couple of ringing pinions as far as I see it.
True. I think that may end up, it could be gearing in the transmission, or if there's some sort of kind of transfer case, obviously there has to be for them to pull this off. Maybe it's in the transfer case, final gearing. I don't know. I mean, I heard there was several other issues going on with the 9-speed transmission. I did hear the one about this thing being underpowered, which was one of the reviews, most common reviews of all the people who I've read that have had a chance to test this thing. They say that it's underpowered. aside from everything else, that is probably one of the most common reviews that I've gotten or seen on the Cherokee. It's underpowered.
Right. Well, that certainly fits in with what Dan was saying over on the 4x4 podcast. So I don't know. Time will tell. If that is the case, then I still say that they could just change the diff gears, which I understand it's easier just to say, but as far as getting to and salvaging potentially millions of dollars worth of investment, that seems to me that would be a lot simpler. Of course, simpler to change that stuff out at the factory instead of a recall. Hey, come on in. We have to do front and rear diff ring and pinion swaps for you because that's the problem with the 9-speed. I mean, that or change out the engine. I mean, come on, that would be very expensive. So,
yeah,
but
no,
you know, like you say, a
absolutely.
turbo, even a turbo on the thing could make a big difference.
Right, and that's what I'm thinking is they may start to alter the power plant. I would expect to see a completely revamped powertrain next year, even if they do keep the 9-speed transmission. I foresee them doing an entirely different engine package next year, or maybe from the same manufacturer but a completely different engine altogether.
Yeah. Well, after I don't want to say much delay, but after a long wait for some of you, I know we have the Stephanie Turner interview coming up. Just to give you a little background, Steph is a friend of XJ Talk on Facebook, and we saw her working on her Jeep. I think there was these two long legs sticking out from underneath the front of a Jeep, and I went, there's a girl that works on her own Jeep. We need to get her on here and learn more about her interest in Jeeps. And I think we just got lucky that she's had two. She's a big XJ fan. She's a big red XJ fan, and of course we all like the red Jeeps.
Red Jeeps are sexy.
Yes, they are. Anyway, so through the interview, we found out that Steph is a mom. She lives up in New York, and well, I don't want to give too much of it away. Let's get to that interview. Hey guys, we're back tonight with our interviews. We haven't done an interview in quite some time, and we're going to be talking to Steph, not New York City, Hudson Valley area, New York. And, well, I saw her on Facebook. She's a Facebook friend of XJ Talk. And I saw her in a picture working on her Jeep Cherokee, and it was red, which is always a good thing. And I'll tell you more about that in a second, Steph. But reached out to her, told her I'd love to get her on, talk about her Jeep obsession, and maybe get some more women interested in this sport, this sickness that we all have. Welcome to the show, Steph.
Hi, thank you very much. Pleasure to be on.
Now, like I was fumbling through, you're in New York, and I guess some of you guys will be able to tell that by her accent, which I've just communicated with her through Facebook, and that's all been text. And I got her here on Skype and realized that she has this wonderful New York accent.
Thank you.
It's just normal talking up there, though, right?
Yeah, pretty much. We don't, we say coffee, we say dog. It's common up here. It's funny to hear people say we have an accent. So.
Now, can you hear my Southern Texas accent?
I sure can.
I bet you can. I listen to myself on these shows and I go, my God, what a country bumpkin that guy is. So,
but I can understand. I got friends in the South that I can't understand a word they say.
Oh, really? That's interesting. So,
yeah, it's thick.
So, you're in, did I say that right? You're in the Hudson Valley area of New York.
Correct. I'm about 45 minutes north of the city, but it's country up here.
Yeah, that just amazes me because I'm actually from Houston. I've been here all my life. So when I think of New York, I think a lot of people make that same mistake. They think of New York City, and there's quite a bit of open places great places to go wheeling at too.
Yeah, tons. New York City is really only like maybe 10% of New York. It's beautiful, beautiful country. We have mountains, we have woods, it's a perfect mix of everything up here. You have all four seasons to test around in, and it's wonderful. I can't live out in New York. I can't do it.
Well, there's no reason why you should. I mean, I kind of feel the same way about Southeast Texas, just this area in general. It's my home. Now, you actually have a link back to Texas because your biological father was from Texas, correct?
Exactly. He still lives down there somewhere around White House, Texas, and my grandmother lives in Tyler.
So you're kind of a New York Texan. This kind of like this call that we're making tonight, since I'm in Texas and you're up in New York. Now, this is you currently have a red Cherokee, right? What year is it?
Correct. I have a red 93 Cherokee Sport.
Now, this isn't your first Cherokee, right?
Correct. No, it's not. I had another red 93 Cherokee, but it wasn't the Sport. It was the basic edition.
Yeah, that I remember reading something on Facebook. Did you want to tell the folks about what happened to the first one?
There was this buddy that I trusted. He was supposed to fix it up for me. The Jeep was actually given to me by my girl's grandparents, Rose and Ed, and it was supposed to be passed down to my oldest daughter. And in the mix of him supposedly fixing it, I got a phone call from one of my friends that they saw my Jeep, and it was you couldn't miss this Jeep. It looked really, really nice, and come to find out it was in their landlord's driveway like they told me, and I found out that the kid sold it on Craigslist for $300. So there wasn't anything I could do about it either, because my ex had given him the title to my truck. So everything with the sale was pretty much legitimate.
That's a shame. Did you have any strong words for him?
Oh, he knows I got strong words for him. I don't think I'd want to put it on the radio, though.
Well, did he
this
give...
one has a push bar, so look out. That's all I got to say.
There you go. Did he give any reason for it?
Nope, he didn't say anything about it. He pretty much just kept brushing me off. It happened to be Mother's Day and my birthday on the day that I had found out about it, and he was out to dinner with his mother, and karma will come back to get you. It's a nasty thing. He just has to live with himself that he took, a single mother's vehicle out from underneath her feet when she had 3 children, 2 of which are sick with a rare form of cancer. He's the one that has to lay his head down at night about it. So.
Now, I didn't know about the rare form of cancer. If you don't mind, what's going on with that? What child, and how is that going, or is it just one of those things that you have to go through?
It's just one of those things you pretty much have to go through. Both my girls have it. It's a hereditary form. I didn't know anything about it until my oldest was 7 months old, and I was 5 months pregnant with the other one. They're Irish twins. They're 11 months apart. They're 6 and 7 now. My 6-year-old, she has tumors that outline the right side of her face. Right now, it's not really affecting anything, so she's not really going through too much. My 7-year-old daughter, Nevaeh Rose, she's with her grandparents, Rose and Ed, right now. She's been undergoing chemo since she was 3. She has them in her brain neuroptic chasm. She recently lost vision in her left eye. It's going in her right. She's learning Braille, but she's a very strong girl. She knows everything that's going on. She's my little hero. You look at her, you realize life isn't so bad. But there's different kinds of neurofibromatosis. One's NF1, the other's NF2. Both my girls are separate. One has NF1, the other has NF2. And it's actually not only hereditary, other people can get it, and I'm glad I get to be on your show and speak about it, because not many people know about it. And it's actually very common out there, and it's something that you definitely want to look after. It's not, not anything to be played with, but there's, it's something that we're going to have to monitor for the rest of their lives, but they're strong kids. They're going to pull through it all right.
I think that's one of the worst fears for a parent is, especially whenever you haven't been a parent and you're having that first child, the thought about, are they going to have all their fingers and toes? Are they going to be healthy? Any learning disabilities, all those things that you worry about, and to have to realize that and to live through it. I'm just put it this way. I know how I am about children in general, much less my own. And I would be a wreck if I had to go through that. I'm sure I would, grow a pair and get my head wrapped around it, but I would be a wreck for a while, because that would just be very traumatic and very concerning. I don't think any child should have to go through that. I mean, being an adult and going through things, well, that's one thing, but your childhood should be a good one. And I know that this is just fantasy I'm talking about, but it's just the way I feel that a child should not have to go through those things.
No, I didn't find out how bad she was either until I was on my 5 months through my 3rd pregnancy, my son. And so it was, it kills me that, I had to rely on her grandparents to take care of her, but they're familiar with the disease, and I couldn't picture her in any other place. They do very well with her, you know. I am still an active part of her life, you know. Their father's not, but you know, that's my little girl, and it's tough to have to watch them go through that. You know, you get adjusted to it, and you have to keep a smile on the whole time. You know, the children feed off your energy.
Oh yeah.
But that's why I continue to do construction, and I continue to be strong-willed, and you know, power through whatever I got to do, because I want them to see, you know, Mommy does what she has to do. She don't give up, you know, and it gives them, you know, the outlook on life, like no matter what you do, no matter what you put your mind to, you could do it, you know, and I want them to see that, so.
Well, and they're making great strides in medicine every day. It's getting, we're getting further along geometrically, and you don't know what's going to come, and you don't know when it's going to come. So,
yeah. Well, she's at Maria Ferrari Children's Hospital in Westchester, one of the best hospitals, and her doctors meet up in Dallas a couple times a year to discuss her case. So she's getting the best treatment possible, for sure.
That's great. Well, I'm sure I speak for the entire XJ Talk audience. Thoughts and prayers for you and those little girls. Is now I guess your son is just mean and running around and absolutely normal.
Yeah, he's a perfectly healthy, rambunctious 4-year-old little boy.
Well, good.
Run for my money, that's for sure.
That's great. So anyway, you getting back to the Jeep thing. Now, you had the 93, and it was basically legally stolen from you, and now you're without a vehicle. How long did it take you to get another Jeep?
After I lost that one, a buddy of mine gave me a Dodge Stratus. I had that car for about 2 years, and everything started going, the water pump, the fuel pump. I got in touch with one of my buddies, and he gave me a number to this guy, and he was like, listen, you know, what kind of car are you looking to get? I was like, well, I'm looking to get another Jeep. He goes, oh, I just went to the auction, actually, and got a red 93. I was like, say no more. He was like, what? I was like, say no more. I want it. It's mine.
That was kind of like, I mean, especially after losing a 93 that was red, I bet you that was like a signal.
I swore I'd always get another one. And I did.
Well, now I understand the obsession, the Jeep Cherokee obsession, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners do too, but what was your reasoning for wanting another one? What did you like about it?
I liked everything about it. They're durable, you know, they got a strong body. Like I said, I do construction, I do snow removal. They're great in any kind of weather. They got the 4.0 straight six. It's such a durable. You can't kill that motor. It doesn't matter. You can't kill it, you know. It's an all-out, strong, reliable vehicle, and it looks mean, it looks beastie, but it looks beautiful at the same time. You know, it's fabulous.
Yep, exactly. You said it right there in a nutshell. Now, do you take yours off-road, or is it just a getting back and forth vehicle?
No, I take it off-road. I normally get the kids together, and there's a few trails out in Port Jervis and whatnot that we go through, and actually around the 4th of July, I got a couple buddies of mine that one has a white Cherokee, the other has a blue Cherokee, and we'll all get together, the red, white, and blue.
Oh, yeah.
And go out riding and stuff, so.
Now, do any of them give you a hard time about your red Cherokee, about the color being red? Because, you know, there's a lot of jealous people out there.
No, actually, I started the Cherokee trend off with my friends. I'm just a little jealous of my buddy's blue one because we were drinking one night up at the Bashik Hill, a rock quarry out here, and he backed into a rock and he crushed in the back top of his Cherokee. He has a 99. And he took the Sawzall to the back behind the seats and out, and he put a Comanche tailgate on it and had a cat made for it, and it looked so bad. It makes me a little jealous.
Yeah, but you can't do that. You need a place to put the kids, right?
Exactly. Well, he has a little girl now, so he had a better cat made for it and everything, and it's his family vehicle.
Gotcha. Well, the reason why I asked you about the having the red Jeep, that's what I was referring to in the opening. There's several people on the xjtalk.com site that have given me a hard time in my red Jeep. I've got a 98 red Jeep, and I think they think it's just so pretty that they get they get upset and they want to give me a hard time about it.
Yeah, on my last red Jeep, I was actually, because it was all tinted, and I redid the bottoms. I pop riveted sheet metal over the bottom of the door panels and stuff, how they rot out around there.
Right.
I sprayed it black, and I took the original 5-star aluminum, you know, Jeep rims, and I sprayed them black, and I had it looking so pretty. And I just wanted to get an emblem that said, "I know," going across the top of the windshield.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Look at it like, like a buddy of mine the other day messaged me. He was like, "Steph, is it all right for me to say I'm jealous of your Jeep?" I was like, "No, it's common for non-Jeep owners to be jealous." Come on now. How can you not be?
Yeah. And, it's amazing to me. We have some 3,000 members on xjtalk.com. And it just amazes me that a vehicle that Jeep stopped making some 12, 13 years ago is still so popular. And at almost 3 million of them that were manufactured, they're still very easy to get. So I guess that's one of the reasons. I guess that's one of the reasons why Jeep is coming out with a 2014 Cherokee that looks absolutely nothing like our beloved Jeep.
Oh, I don't like the new Jeeps they've been coming out with. They're too pretty. Jeep is meant to be off-road, on-road, rugged, durable. Now all the Jeeps they're coming out with, they're all for luxury. And
it's sad, isn't it? It's very sad. It's yeah, I'm the same way. It's not a Jeep. I often say if it doesn't have a front axle, it's not a Jeep. It shouldn't have the Jeep logo.
No.
So,
absolutely not.
So what all have you had to do on your, let's not even talk about the old one. It's gone and forgotten. Let's talk about the new one. What kind of things have you had to do to your new 93, new to you 93?
Well, I haven't done too much on it yet. I put bigger tires on it a little bit. I did the front brakes and everything like that. My boyfriend sent it out. We had the front wheel bearing and new joints and everything like that done on it, but she still needs a lot of work. The floor was replaced in it. When I got her in last September, she only had 96.5 on it. 96.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah, but the body, the undercarriage, a lot of it's rotted out and stuff. I got to replace the rocker panels. There's a lot of body work that has to get done to it, but other than that, the motor's strong. She's solid.
That's great. Well, it sounds like as far as the body work goes that you've already done a little bit of that on the other one. So this should just be a new project for you.
That's why I love it.
So I would assume that it's like that because of all the salt they put on the roads up there during the wintertime.
That's what I'm thinking. Either that or whoever previously had it. Maybe it could have come up from Katrina or something. The guy I got it from the auction.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So it could have been submerged. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because I wanted to put the snorkel kit and everything on it. But then I put it on the lift and I looked under it. I saw the floor was replaced and everything. And I was thinking maybe if we welded it together and I put some kind of like heavy duty rhino lining across the bottom of it and stuff,
Yeah.
Maybe that. Yeah, but
I forget what it's called because I haven't had to deal with any rust on mine because it was I bought it here new in Texas, and we don't do the salt on the roads because it never gets below 40 here anyway. But oh God, I forgot what I was going to tell you now. Yeah. Anyway, the rust things. Oh, I did remember one thing. I'm getting I did order a snorkel, an airflow snorkel, and I'm still waiting for it. I think it's going to be here like October 31st.
Oh, it'll be a nice Halloween present.
Yes, it will. But I'm not planning on taking mine in water. I just kind of get it for a just in case scenario.
Yeah, well, mine, I want to go plenty of places with her. And like I said, I do the snow removal and stuff. So I'm out there in blizzards and whatnot, driving around with her. And
Now, when you say that you do the snow removal, do you actually hook up a plow to the front of it, or are you just getting to where the snow removal thing is?
I shovel everything. I
haven't. Oh, no.
Yeah, I get the back work.
My God, what do you do with your gym membership?
No, I don't need one.
Exactly.
With kids in the line of work I do, and I just started school a couple weeks back for a heavy equipment operator. Now, I don't need a gym membership.
Yeah, exactly. That was the joke. Now, what kind of heavy equipment? Will it be all kinds, or will it? Is it a specific heavy equipment at the construction site? What are you training for?
Right now, they have us training with the dozer, the excavator, the backhoe.
Holy crap! That's some major stuff.
Yeah, the first day we had class, they put us right out onto the machines. They already got us using the buckets and the excavator to move the machine side to side and front to back without, having to drive it around. That's a little scary, but I'll get used to it.
I don't know. To me, that sounds like a lot of fun. How is it for you?
It's definitely fun. I mean, there is times when it can get boring sitting in there for a while, especially when you're sitting right underneath the sun baking to death. But it's all right. I start thinking about the dollar signs that come along with it when I'm done. It makes it a lot funner.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's the only reason why we go to work. Now, out there providing for your kids is one thing, but you're also going to be providing for the Jeep too, right?
Oh, yes.
So what's the future? What's your future plans for the Jeep? I know you said snorkel, and of course you got to take care of the rust. That's what I was going to say a while ago. They make some sort of paint that goes on the rust that will turn it, basically kill that rust and turn it into a metal. So I guess that you could put that stuff on there. You probably know about that. I don't have to deal with it, so I've just kind of halfway remember.
There's going to be a lot of welding. When I went to do the brakes, everywhere I went to put the jack, you could just hear it crumbling apart.
Wow.
So she's going to have a lot of work done to her probably within the next year.
So are you going to be doing the welding? Do you have a welder?
No, my boyfriend wants to look into grabbing a little welder for here, but I don't have one myself. Luckily, I got a buddy who has one, and he's pretty good with it. So,
well, that's a good thing about knowing people with Jeeps and working construction. Somebody's got to know how to do something and have the right equipment, right?
Exactly. That's why I told my boyfriend, he's a plumber and he does electric and stuff, and I do roofing and everything else. I told him we'll never have to hire anybody. We got this. We'll never have to hire anyone.
That's exactly the way I like it. I would much rather, it always bothers me when I don't know how to do something. And really, if you just put forth a little bit of effort, you may screw it up the first time, but the second time is generally, at least for me, the second time is usually spot on. So it's usually not that difficult that you get out there and you try something. And I guess that's one of the things that we're trying to get across tonight. Steph has definitely got the mindset of, I like the Jeep, and yeah, it's got some problems, but I'm going to fix it. I'm going to make it mine and do what I want, what I need to do it to it so I can use it. And that's kind of what we want to get across. I mean, it seems to be a male perspective, but not generally a female perspective, at least when our Jeeps come in. And well, Steph, you're living proof that you can do it if you just put your mind to it.
Exactly. Growing up being a girl, you always have you can't do this, you can't do that. Oh, it's a man's world for this, it's a man's world for that. And I grew up working on farms and stuff. That's not what I'm about. Whenever someone tells me I can't, I do, and that's why in construction, I always tried to get my nose into everything. I was a daddy's girl with the mechanics. I grew up raised Mopar, which Jeep is actually part of Mopar. And it just went on from there. They told me I couldn't do roofing. I started doing roofing. They told me I couldn't do masonry. I started doing masonry, and the only thing that the guys could hold over me was the machinery. Nobody would ever teach me how to do anything on their machines. So then I started doing the class, and now there we go. Until next time somebody tells me I can't do something, then I'll pick up another hobby.
They're going to stop talking to you because you'll take their job away.
I know. A lot of the guys that hire me, I've worked for them for years, and they're, I work circles around the guys. I don't take breaks, and a lot of my bosses have called me a slave driver.
Yeah, you're making the rest of us look bad, is I'm sure is what they're saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, that's great.
I'm on their toes then.
So, do you have a lift in mind? What size tires did you put on it?
2.
Oh no! Don't give me don't give me those tire numbers. I mean, like in inches. Is it like 29 inches, 30 inches? 30, yeah.
I think 30s, yeah.
Because that's what I put on the 99, and I recently put a 3-inch lift on the 99 that we have. As I mentioned, I think I mentioned earlier, the girls have been driving that one. One was very, very happy that I put the lift kit on it. The other one was like, I don't care, And I thought, it'd be really a lot of fun driving around in a lifted Jeep, But
of course, I was thinking of a 2-inch at first or spacers because I didn't really feel like having to change out that much on it, but. My perfect dream idea involves the 3-inch lift on it.
Yep. Did you have a manufacturer in mind? Rough Country, Rubicon Express?
the Rubicon Express I had looked at, I get my magazines in from time to time here and there, and I'm part of Quadratech. They send me a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really, my hand was in a splint all summer. I wasn't really in work. I slipped on a roof and dislocated my thumb and tried to reset it myself and keep working. And 2 months later, I couldn't move it, so they broke it and reset it and put it in a stiff cast for me.
Oh, gee, that'll teach you.
Yeah.
When you said
like that.
when you said the roof work, I was going to ask you how many times you've fallen off the roof so far.
There was one time that I slipped, and the guys always picked on me for wearing my tool belt when I worked. And I told them, I don't want to have to keep grabbing stuff. And one day I slipped because I put down a whole bunch of felt paper, the same reason I slipped and dislocated my thumb. And I grabbed my hammer out of my tool belt and I slammed the claws of it into the roof.
Oh, wow. That's great. Great thinking.
Oh, it saved my ass, I could tell you that.
Yeah. How far a drop was that?
It would have been about 20 feet.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No, I don't want to do that. I like my body parts where they are.
Yeah, we used to, when we were kids, we would jump that far, but man, there's no way as an adult I'd want to drop 20 feet.
Well, you think of it, the distance when you're a kid, you're closer to the ground, so it really doesn't seem that far. Now you're a tall adult and everything seems ridiculous. No.
Oh, yeah, and we would hang off. We wouldn't just jump. We would hang off to get closer to the ground, too.
Yeah, that's my son. He'll walk on the edge of stuff and be like, Mommy, I'm only going to slip if I lean over. He'll climb up on my Jeep. He uses the push bar to climb up there. He'll do flips off of it. He's only 4, mind you. He had a skull fracture at 2. We didn't even know about it.
Well, all I can say is look whose kid he is.
Exactly. My family calls me Steve or Stevie. And my mom said I was always the son she never wanted. I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom.
Oh, that's pretty rough.
My sweet 16 was a football party. I didn't even have any chicks there. It was a SpongeBob cake and a whole bunch of guys playing football.
That's great. Well, you sound like a perfect individual to be in a rugged vehicle, a rugged go-anywhere vehicle. So 3-inch lift, snorkel, 30-inch tires. You think you're going to be sticking with the 30s, or when you get the lift on there, maybe go a little bit bigger tire?
I was thinking 33s after I put the lift.
That's going to be a 4.5 to 6.5-inch lift.
I don't know. I'm still debating.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. The 4.5 is really nice. That's what I went with mine, and then I went with a 6.5. I've got 33s on mine now. And that's with the Bushwhacker fender flares.
Yeah, I want those. Yeah, definitely.
So flats or the traditional ones?
The traditional ones.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, the traditional ones. It's funny, when I got the Jeep, they actually were holding the Jeep Jamboree not even a half a mile from my house. And I wanted to go down there and get a few different ideas, look around at some of them. I pull in and they were like, oh, do you have a ticket? I was like, I got a Jeep. That is my ticket.
That's
they
great.
were like, no, you need a pass to get in here, da-da-da-da-da. I was so upset. But
oh, that's a shame. I'm surprised they didn't.
And it's like $300, $400 just for one person.
Oh, that's insane. I'm surprised they didn't let you in. I mean, a girl with a Jeep Cherokee, I would have let you in.
Well, thank you. That's what I figured, but
yeah, I mean, try anyway. Gee, $300 or $400?
Because I was a red Cherokee and there wasn't any of them there, But $300 or $400 to get into a jamboree? Yeah, it was the Jeep Jamboree right up here in Sullivan County, New York.
Oh, is that the group that puts on the tour type thing where they take you off road and?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, we actually interviewed one of the members from there, so now that makes more sense. I see why they were charging. It's a whole thing with food and everything. So, all right.
It's a private property that you're on, and probably insurance fees to cover that and whatnot. So.
Yeah, it's a profit deal.
I don't want to go on no trails. I just wanted to hang out, talk to some people,
Well, see, that's why you need to be more active on xjtalk.com. I know you got signed up, and you need to get on there and look at the pictures and start asking some questions. There's hundreds of people that tell you exactly how to spend your money on your Jeep. We like doing that. All we ask is pictures. That's all we like, is seeing it come together.
Well, I'm sure you've seen plenty of pictures of my baby on my Facebook. I'm always posting them.
Yep, I have. And actually, that's the reason why I knew that I wanted to get you on here to do an interview, because like I said before, I saw you working on it. An unusual thing, I believe. So
yeah, that's when the rotors were rusted on so bad. When I got the Jeep, the guy said he changed my pads and rotors. My brake light came on, and that rotor was on there so bad I was beating on it with a lead pipe for like an hour before it came off.
Wow. I think I might have tried some heat, but it might have caught on fire.
I was putting PB Blaster on it and everything, trying to get it to loosen up, and she was not going.
Wow. So I guess it was. That really couldn't have been just salt. That really must have been water.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It was sitting in something for a while. Could
have been salt water if it was from New Orleans.
Yeah, exactly. And that would eat it right up, so. All in due time. I'm almost at 122,000 miles with her. So she still got some time. The other Jeep I had over 300,000 miles on it. And it ran strong, so. Yeah,
they're amazing. Just amazing vehicles. I remember when I had around 110,000 on mine, I was getting a little nervous. And it was before I started the website and really even started the lift or anything on it, because I bought mine new in 98. And like I said, when I got around 110,000 miles, I was getting a little nervous about it. I wanted to lift it and do some things to it, but I didn't know how much longer it had to go. And somebody at work said, oh, no, those things will go 200, 300,000 miles easy. And I thought to myself, how could I get so damn lucky to have picked a vehicle that had that kind of longevity? So,
yeah.
Yep, the more...
It's funny because there's a rivalry in my household because my boyfriend has a 68 Cadillac Coupe de Ville with the 472. And it's in the driveway, and his buddies will show up, and they're looking at it. I'm like, well, hey, guys, if you really like cars, look over here at my 93 Jeep. I'm always trying to deter them.
Well, I think if they knew a lot about it, the Jeep would outshine pretty much anything from Chevrolet even today. I don't think they make them like they used to, not like they used to make the Jeeps.
No, even my dad's thinking about getting one now. He was like, that seems like a pretty good car, da-da-da-da-da. He had an old Fury for the longest time that he used to drive. And now he has a Chrysler Sebring convertible. And up here with the winters, I told him you might want to get a truck. And at first he was looking at a Dodge Dakota, but I've slowly worked the Jeep onto him. So now he wants to get a Jeep Cherokee himself.
Well, they're so cheap, and they're so capable off-road. Yeah, they're just really capable off-road, just straight from the factory. So it wouldn't be a bad thing. Wouldn't be a bad thing for him at all. I bet you'd feel really comfortable knowing that he's driving it too.
Yeah, I've let him drive mine before, and he liked it. And he's about to be 59 this month, and he's a little guy. He's maybe about my size, and he's always taking his dogs everywhere with him. So it's good to know that he's in a nice, reliable vehicle. He's out in the country where there's a lot of deer and stuff out there, bears, and he's always the one to hit them, so.
He's a wild animal magnet.
Yeah, I was going to get a deer slayer on the front of his other car.
Well, he needs one of those, he needs a Jeep Cherokee, and he needs one of those ARB bull bar bumpers.
Yeah, my Jeep, I clipped the rear end of a deer. I tried to miss him, and the deer hair got stuck so bad in the bumper, I had to trim it off. It's still there, some of it, but it didn't do any damage to the truck.
My goodness. Well, that deer has a hell of a story to tell.
Yeah, I went back looking for him, but I couldn't find him.
Yeah, so. I bet you're long gone.
Hunting season's coming, though, so it's all right.
Somebody will be complaining about, what the hell happened to this deer? It's like a defective deer. It's missing hair.
So, I've seen a deer walking around with an arrow sticking out of her nose. She had 2 babies.
Oh, that's a shame.
I'm surprised walking around like that.
Yeah, that's a shame when that happens. Take it home and eat it, or don't just wound it like that. But I guess those things are going to have to happen.
I keep a knife in my truck. I've seen people hit them and leave them, and if they're still moving, I'll, but check them. Always check them. Don't just hit and leave, look for it. If it's hurt and you're not capable of taking care of it, call somebody, call the authorities, have someone out and properly put it out of its misery, because that's not right. That's animal cruelty.
Exactly. Well, Steph, I know you mentioned, we both mentioned actually, that you're on Facebook. Is there any way if somebody wants to look you up and see what you're doing to your Jeep. If you're not posting it on xjtalk.com, somebody would probably like to see what's going on. How would people get in touch with you?
I'm under Stephanie, Stephani Turner on Facebook. My cover photo is of my Jeep, so you can't miss it.
That's great. Well, Stephanie, I really appreciate it. Or Steph, I really appreciate you being here with us tonight and agreeing to do this interview. And hopefully we can get you back on in the future and hear about more wonderful things that are going on, not only with your Jeep, but some great news on the progression of that disease with your daughters. Hopefully that will, not necessarily the disease will last a long time, but they will be able to continue on and then see a cure.
Miracles happen every day.
Yep, they do. Like you getting that second red 93 Jeep. That was kind of a miracle.
It sure was. Once he said 93 red, I was like, say no more. I want it. I don't care. I want it.
Well, again, thanks so much. And hopefully we'll be seeing you on the site.
Thanks for asking me. It was an honor.
This is Richard Goatman Gautier with Team Naxja, Petty Cash Racing the 4643 Jeep Cherokee and Ultra 4, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
How would you like to be a guest on the XJ Talk Show? Do you have an interesting story about your Jeep? Maybe an off-road adventure? Perhaps you're a vendor and want to get the word out about your great products. Send us an email to interviews@xjtalk.com or call and leave a voice or text message at 530-675-4102. 530-675-4102. We look forward to hearing from you. We here at the XJ Talk Show really appreciate you listening to our podcast. If you enjoy the show, please consider sharing it with a friend. It's so easy. Just tell them to go to xjtalkshow.com.
Well, Josh, now you've heard the interview. What'd you think?
Way cool. We're going through the reviews or some of the remarks there in the comment section on the YouTube channel. And yeah, real deal, man. What a tough chick trying to reset her own dislocated thumb. I don't know if that's something even I could do. That is something else. I imagine she's got quite a few more stories for us, and I hope we could probably get her on the show again sometime soon.
I hate to say it, but and this probably doesn't apply to all men, but it certainly applies to me. I could see resetting a broken bone. I've done stuff not that severe, but I had a boil one time and no health insurance, so I lanced it myself. After it hurts long enough, you just get mad enough where you say, I don't care. I'll just gnaw the damn thing off. But as far as putting up with, I hate to say it this way, but I guess you should look at it as being given the opportunity to experience children for who they are and however long they're going to be around. That's the thing that would be the hardest thing for me, especially by myself. And it boggles my mind how people can bring children into this world and then just walk away from them. I don't think I'll ever understand that. So,
yeah, that's man, that's a tough one. I mean, my family's been touched by cancer as well. I don't wish that sort of thing on anybody. And I'm not a huge advocate for cancer awareness and stuff, but there is a charity which I MC every year. I highly suggest everybody to find and to donate and help them out as candlelighters for children with cancer. One of our former guests, Bree and Bub Off-Road, they are very much involved with this organization. They do amazing things to not only help the kids, but also the children's families who are having to deal with cancer with a child. It's not something we wish on anybody, but there are people out there that help and make things a little bit better.
Well, one of these days soon, cancer will be something that you see in the movies, something that was dreaded back in at the turn of the 21st century, and people will go, how they were able to live in those times, I don't know, with heart disease and probably even aging and death. God, could you imagine living every day that the possibility existed that you would get old and die? I look forward to those days. I hope that we actually live to see those. So, So as you guys know, we normally tell you all the good things to do here at the end of the show. One of the things that you really should do, get into the fun that Nikki G's been having and call our voicemail line. That number is 530-675-4102. You don't have to be funny, you don't have to be interesting, but you do have to call 530-675-4102.
And of course, we're broadcasting live every Sunday night, 10 p.m. Central on our YouTube channel. Please head over to youtube.com and check out xjtalk.com. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you guys are heading over to iTunes as well, giving us a 5-star review there.
Oh, and we're trying to get our YouTube subscriptions up on our other podcast, the Tony and Josh Show. So please go and subscribe there so we can actually do our live events from that specific channel. We're kind of doing them from here right now. Also, too, don't forget the reason why we're here, to visit xjtalk.com. It is the premier and friendliest Jeep Cherokee website on the interwebs. And we can say that because, we believe it's true. I don't know that we know it's true, Josh.
Oh, no, I know it's true. Folks, head over to xjtalk.com. It's a great site, tons of information, and 100% free. Head on over there now and check us out. Hey,
xjtalk.com and XJ Talk Show is going to SEMA. No booth or anything. We'll just be wandering around putting fingers and nose prints on all the pretty things. And I suspect some of those pretty things will be vehicles. But if you'd like to meet up with us... yeah.
I said, let's hope so.
Well, if you'd like to meet up with us at SEMA, assuming you're going, please join us on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. We'll be texting and tweeting and all kinds of crap from there, and we'll be able to meet up at some of the 20,000, 30,000 booths they have. So anyway, till next week, this is Tony.
And this is Josh.
You guys have a great Jeep week. Well, that's the show, guys. This is the post show. This is when Josh and I talk a little bit, and Josh tries to act like he's not sleepy or doesn't want to leave and go watch The Walking Dead.
Well, yeah, no, I do want to go watch The Walking Dead, but no, I know we got stuff to do, and like I said, it comes on demand. It's just I got to wait a few days, so no instant gratification for me.
Yeah, no. I always remember the instant gratification being the MTV thing. You watch that video, you don't like it. Wait 3 minutes, another video is going to come on.
That's right. That's right.
Did you watch the MTV videos whenever they first started doing it, and it looked like videos that came out of a Cracker Jack box?
Well, of course. I mean, it was 1983 or something, 84, 85.
Yeah. But they were incredibly bad. It was like YouTube. It was like watching YouTube videos.
You're right. It kind of was.
Yeah,
that's a great reference there.
You remember the one from the Flock of Seagulls where they wrapped the camera in aluminum foil? They had it on a tripod, and the camera was wrapped in aluminum foil. The tripod was wrapped in aluminum foil, and they were like on a carousel and spinning with. And you could see they had a mirror or mirrors set up, and you could see them spinning around. But it was literally covered in foil. It was horrible, but the song was good. Now,
top line special effects.
Yes, and I think the first real big time production video was Michael Jackson's Thriller video.
Oh yeah,
and that's whenever the bar changed. That's when people started putting money into the music videos. That was a cool time. I really enjoyed MTV back then.
Well, that was when it was music television. That's what it was supposed to be. Now it's not that.
Anything
I don't know
but.
what it is now.
Yeah. Anyway. So, guys, we will be going to SEMA, and I say we, unfortunately not Josh.
No, not this year, unfortunately. But, Tony, I do know a couple guys that are going to be going down there. In fact, my best friend of all time is going to be down there, probably with West Coast Customs. I think that's who he's going to be down there with. So his name's Matty. I told him to look out for you. Look out for him. He might be on you like white on rice.
Well,
no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I figured if there's a guy that comes up to you and starts talking about me, that's why.
Yeah, no problem. If he's not already a friend of us on Facebook or following us on Twitter, tell him to, because I figured that's what I was saying at the end of the show. If somebody's out there, I'll be on Facebook and Twitter and so on and so forth, and that way people can say, hey, I'm over at booth such and such, or I have a booth at SEMA. and I'll have the big ass camera with me and the digital voice recorder.
So now, are you bringing a monopod or a tripod or anything with you to maybe where you could set something up super fast and get a picture with somebody, wearing an XJ Talk t-shirt or something like that?
No, I was planning on taking pictures of the individual. I've been mulling over maybe taking one of those oversized stickers like I have on my Jeep and getting them to hold it. I do not personally want to be in the picture. I don't personally want to be on YouTube right now, but there you go.
I was going to say, I know it's a little, it borderlines on tacky, but really it's all about promotion and stuff like that. And it's, geez, can you hold this up and can I get a picture with you, please? Or, picture of you, please. And, that sort of thing. I don't know, because it's kind of endorsing something. So I'm curious to see how that might be perceived.
Yeah. I'm going to ask, I'm going to feel awkward, but
shove it in their chest and be like, here, hold this.
But I'm going to, well, if I had a bunch of stickers, I could just stick it to them.
Yeah. Right. Look at all the stickers on these celebrities' backs.
Oh no, I'm boisterous enough to do it on the front. Although I don't know how Courtney Hanson would react to that.
Oh, right. Well, we know how her security would.
But anyway, so I guess we'll wrap this up and get the video promo done for YouTube, and we'll say goodnight to our audience. We had it looks like we had 7 peak concurrent viewers tonight, which if you're listening or watching watching the show right now and you say, gee, 7's not much, I agree with you. 7 isn't much. It should be more than that, 100 at least, but it is what it is. And well, we're very happy that you guys came and watched the show with us, and I hope you enjoyed that interview. It was one of my favorite ones to do. Steph was great. I mean, some of the shenanigans that girl has come up with. Hey, did you see the comment that I made in YouTube about because her mom friended me on Facebook? She friended xjtalk.com.
Yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. It was bad enough saying it went back then. She says it again tonight. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, like I was saying, Steph's mom friended me on Facebook tonight, friended xjtalk.com on Facebook tonight, and she was sending me text messages about how her and the mom and dad were driving around in the CJ7 when she was pregnant with Steph, and how he was basically beating her up driving off road or something.
Trying to induce labor, so to speak.
Yeah. And it's like, oh gee, now the Jeep addiction makes complete sense now.
Yeah. Yeah, she was Jeeping before she was even born.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you very much. Really enjoyed the show. I guess I would have enjoyed it more if I had a little more talking time. It's a little tough to sit there and just listen to an interview, but it was a good interview to listen to. And again, very many thanks to Steph for being a good sport and making time to do that interview with us.
Absolutely.